Hey guys, didn't really know what else to do. I mean, I could have probably done a video on the new Poker Night re-release, but, because I spent most of the day trying to get all this working, I decided, hey, you know what, why don't I show something simpler? What about some Chocolate Doom on Linux? So, yeah, as you can see, well, you probably can't see it in the setup, but still, it is there somewhere. You guys cannot see it. There, see a chocolate set. So there is definitely a Chocolate Doom somewhere. So you wonder, well, how the heck do you get Chocolate Doom working on Linux? Well, depends on your distro. Let me actually unwindow this so you guys can actually see. So what you have to do is you type in sudo apt install chocolate doom. Of course, I've already done that, so I don't need to do it. And then, second, once you have it, you'll get your setup, so you can just configure whatever you want. So, all that. And then when you want to actually play it, you'll have to type chocolate-doom space -iwad, and then just type what you want. And there you go, you're ready to go. So, okay, this is a little loud, I cannot hear myself. Okay, that's better. So, yeah, here we are, guys. Chocolate Doom on Linux Mint. So, yeah. Lately, I've always been kind of like... My Linux experience has been kind of like back and forth, honestly. I mean, yeah, sometimes it works, but I always find myself, like, it's stuck in some things that kind of just make me go back to Windows, even though I clearly do not wanna. Because, Windows is just compatible with everything, that's the deal. But of course, Linux just offers much more, like, freedom, you get, like, you can customize your desktop better, like what I did just now. So, I got these icons, these theme and everything. So, yeah, you definitely get more customizability, although I'd say the big thing that was kind of restricting me from using Linux was DaVinci Resolve, which, if you guys don't know, yes, you can install DaVinci Resolve on Linux, it'll work just fine, but the problem is that it doesn't support every codec, so that means you have to convert it with a tool I just covered called FmpEg. So, yeah, and that's what I'm using. So convert your H.264 videos into AV1 videos, which do work on DaVinci Resolve. Although this is mostly a thing on the free version of DaVinci Resolve. It does support every... So, the studio version does support every codec, but, obviously it's like $300. That's the same price as the Nintendo Switch 1, so, yeah, I'm not gonna not spending that kind of price. Yeah. Of course, I could also just use, like, a free editor to speed up stuff, like Kdenlive, but, I'm always so used to DaVinci Resolve. It's like the only edit software I can comfortably use. Like, anything else is just like, how the fuck do I get like a crossfade or whatever? So, yeah. And a lot of these third-party editing softwares kind of look ugly in my opinion. I mean, yeah, you've got like Flowblade or whatever, but maybe not as advanced as Resolve, so yeah. If you're just going to use an editing software, well, just use DaVinci Resolve, that's the deal. So, yeah, that's kind of what's been holding me back from Linux full-time, but now that I figure out how I can actually do it, I figured, hey, maybe I might be permanent Linux user full-time. However else that's supposed to mean, but still. And I've always kind of wanted to use Linux for a while. It's kind of since I got my Steam Deck, which, as you guys know, uses its own SteamOS, which is based on Arch, so that's a good thing. So, of course, that could just mean, well, couldn't I just pick SteamOS on my PC when it gets publicly released? And I thought, well, no, because there's, like, hundreds of other distros, and well, the one I ended up picking was Mint. So yeah, I picked Linux Mint. If I can just bring up the whoops. There, if I could bring up NeoFetch. Oh wait, oops. Okay, shit. Oh no, oop. Okay, I just fucked up. Alright, so anyway, as I was saying, yeah, I picked Linux Mint because, well, I knew it was very beginner-friendly, and basically it's just Windows, but, you know, without the annoying stuff of Windows. Because, you know, if you use Windows, like I'm sure most of you use, then you know it's the obvious bloatware and bullshit. You know, stuff Microsoft just wants to throw on your face for no reason because they thought, okay, this stuff's cool, why not let everyone use it? Like, no, Microsoft, we don't want your Copilot, we don't want any of that. So, yeah, that's just the deal with Mint. It's just Windows but better, in a way. Because it's like pretty much everything just works out of the box. Of course, you want to have everything out of the box, sure. Like, you obviously need to install Steam manually, but compared to something like Baze, which does include Steam by default, and also Lutris, but for the most part, still, it's easy to just get stuff working. You don't need to do everything in the terminal. You know, sure, there's some stuff you want to use in terminal, like FFmpeg, like what I do, but for the most part, it's nearly the same thing. Because again, just about anything will work, whatever you want. So obviously some games will work via Steam's Proton, which, well, you should already know that if you use a Steam Deck. And of course you can use other stuff like Lutris or Heroic, which I've not used, because I don't have a lot of games that require third-party launchers. I mean, closest I can think of is Uno, but of course I have that on Steam, even though it does require the Ubisoft launcher anyway. And well, there is Crysis 3 also, but that won't. But there is the remaster, so yeah, I don't think you need to. Yeah, I don't think you really need the. I don't think you need to play Vanilla Crysis 3 anymore. Plus, it got delisted anyway, so I don't see the point. Oh shit. But yeah, gaming on Linux is a thing. Of course, you see me playing Doom via Choco Doom. So that's one thing. Although, a bit of an odd thing about Choco Doom on Linux, and also same with Crispy Doom. Is that music fonts are that great. I mean, yeah, native MIDI does work just fine on Mint, even though it sounds different than if you tried native MIDI on like the Kex Engine port. But the problem is that on SteamOS it's kind of different because well, SteamOS is immutable, which means that means that some music fonts, especially native MIDI, will not work. So you can get Gus Simulator work. There's a file for that, which you can ask someone in the Choco Doom Discord and they'll give it to you. So yeah, getting music working. So yeah, Doom music on Linux isn't the best, but hey, I mean it worked. I mean, worked out of the box in Mint. And well, on SteamOS you still have like OPL, but you know, you probably may not want OPL. It's just less detailed music. But I guess maybe that's what most people had back in the 90s. I'm not too sure. Obviously, it was important then, but you know. Hey, if you played Doom back in the 90s, you probably know how it is. And another thing that convinced me to use Linux more was PewDiePie's video on Linux, because why not? I mean, PewDiePie's such a cool guy. So yeah, he also uses Linux Mint and on his desktop, and he also has a laptop with Arch. Even though, of course, that's obviously Arch, I'm not ready for that yet. Like, well, not that Arch would be super hard, it just requires you to be smart about things, you know, reading the wiki or whatever. Like, it's not what I want out of a operating system, personally. But hey, you know, it's Linux. You can just have it whatever you want. Hell, there's a Linux from scratch. You can make your own distro. I don't know why you would, but hey, you have that option. For the most part, if you're just a normal person, you want to use your PC like how you would with Windows, then yeah, just pick Linux, man. Or you could pick something like Fedora or Zorin OS. I guess if you really want to, you can pick Ubuntu, but Ubuntu's kind of had a lot of flack. It's kind of ironic since Mint is based on Ubuntu, or well, also based on Debian, but still, mostly Ubuntu. And yeah, again, there's just hundreds of distros out there. You just pick whatever you want. And shoot, I hope my voice is loud enough. Cause the mic settings are like, okay, yes, it's loud enough. So yeah, the mic on Linux is kind of different than on Windows. But for the most part, yeah. I mean, everything I do on Linux is just kind of the same. Again, obviously play a lot of older titles, so it's not really a major... So gaming isn't a major deal. Although I yet to benchmark Doom the Dark Ages on Linux Mint. I mean, it probably won't matter. I'm on an RTX 3060. It worked just fine at 1080p with DLSS balanced, but it's on Windows. But you know, I heard that obviously compared to other distros, Mint isn't the 100% best at gaming compared to something like CachyOS, which I heard is like. I heard Cache is supposed to be like a super fast distro, but that's also Arch-based, so probably not for me yet. Oh, I didn't get the key. So yeah, I mean, if I had to really pick a different distro that isn't Mint, then I'd probably go with Bazzite, because it is another gaming distro. It's supposed to mimic SteamOS, except it works better on NVIDIA cards, whereas SteamOS, well, doesn't work on NVIDIA at all. So, yeah. But then there's also Navarre OS, which is supposed to be like Fedora, but it's not immutable unlike Bazzite or SteamOS, so yeah, I'm not too sure what else could be different, but other than that, yeah. So yeah, those are like the three like gaming-oriented distros I know. So we got so obviously you got SteamOS, you got Bazzite, Navarre, and Cachy. So those are like the main ones. And again, something like Mint can work just fine. I mean, I was playing TF2 earlier today on Mint, and hey, I got good results. Yeah, it's like the only distro you need just because of how reliable it is, just how everything just works. Well, almost anything. Of course, you have like against like Apex that have specific anti-cheats that don't work on Linux. So yeah. So if I really wanted to play Apex, then well, I'd have to get the game on my Switch too. Which wouldn't be a big deal since there's gyro aim and also Joy-Con mouse on Switch too. You know, if Splatoon's anything to go by, then yeah, gyro aim definitely is standardized when it comes to Switch. But yeah, for the most part, pretty much any game will work that it doesn't have anti-cheat. So, again, like Team Fortress 2... Oh, I forgot the blue key. I'm forgetting about your keys, man. This is fucking stupid. Alright, but anyway, yeah, that's the key. Right there, now the other key. And what else can I say about Linux? Well, I mean, I could talk about Rising. well, because of how customizable Linux is, any distro, you can basically just make it whatever you want. I mean, I can just show you my rising. I can show you what rising I've done, although it's not the extreme amount of rising, at least whatever Mint is capable of, but for the most part it's something, you know, because I thought that the default Mint kind of looked boring. I mean, not horrible, but again, it's just, I just wanted something a little more pleasing to look, so I customized around a little bit, which I'll show after I finish this level, or all this episode. So yeah, I'll go into detail just what I did. Kill this Pinky and this, though, there's a few other issues as well I've encountered in Linux aside from DaVinci Resolve. One of them is that sometimes the audio would be kind of weird. Like if I set it too high, it would just be all like poppy and shit. Although a temporary fix is just putting the PC on suspend mode, or sleep mode rather, and then the audio will come back up like normal. But then it will just come back up once I hit shutdown. So yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is there, but hey, I mean, it's not a big problem if it fixes itself. So yeah. Although Steam Deck didn't have this issue, so I don't know what is the case with Mint or any other distro I've used on my desktop. What's that? Maybe it could be my sound chip on the motherboard. It's an Omen motherboard, but people don't. When I ask them on it, they just don't think so. So I'm not sure. There's probably ways you can fix it, like maybe power saving some distros, but hey, for the most part, for me, it's just suspend mode and then just wake it back up. That's all I do, and it works. So yeah. And well, I guess when it comes to, I don't know what else to say. It's like, there's another thing too that I guess kind of the thing that people kind of believe that I guess kind of the reason why people oh my god, I don't know what to say. I'm running out of things to say. I'm just randomly saying shit. So yeah, I feel like just people kind of meme about Linux being like hard to use because of the fact that there's some things you need to get the terminal running. I mean, even on Mint, yes, there are definitely some things you want to use terminal for, like for me, that was getting DaVinci Resolve to work, and also to use FFmpeg, which I've tested around a bit before starting to record this video. So yeah, it's a bit of a process, but it works for me, and I'm sure it'll work for you. But for the most part, for a distro like Mint, you don't really need to use the terminal if you don't want to use it. I mean, sure, you'll pick up the courage to want to use it, but yeah, for the most part, something like Mint just won't require it as much unless it's for like extremely specific rising, which I mean, stuff I personally wouldn't do, but still, it can be done. Of course, some distros are probably better at rising. I mean, Mint, probably not the best, because all you really got is just adjusting themes and also using applets and desklets. But for the most part, yeah, but yeah, I guess there's like some videos where they make it super gorgeous compared to default. Especially what I do, as you'll see in like the next like 10 minutes. But for the most part, if you want more customizability, you'd rather use something like Arch. And it makes sense, because Arch is supposed to be like super minimal distro gives you like full control over your PC. Just kind of crazy to think. And I guess people also, of course, Arch is kind of a tougher one to install. I mean, yeah, you've got the Arch install command, I've heard, but you know, if you're supposed to have full control over your PC when you use Arch, and especially with the manual install, then like, what's the point of Arch install? Kind of makes Arch pointless, and you'd rather just use CachyOS, which does have an easier GUI installer. At least that's just what I think, but who knows? Maybe you out there, if someone watching this video does use the Arch install, and they got good things about it, but I don't know. I'm not too sure about it, but still, your mileage may definitely vary when it comes to Arch. Like, how good are you at maintaining the thing? That's one thing for sure. Alright, I'm gonna kill these Barons. Whoa! Heck there. Alright, that's episode 1. So yeah, overall, yeah, Linux is pretty cool. I mean, it's definitely not for everyone. You'll definitely find some things you may need to have Windows for, but in that case, you can just dual boot. You know, install Linux on a different drive and keep Windows on the other. But still, for the most part, anyone should just give Linux a try. Even if it's for just one day, you should still try it out, you know? Maybe it might become your new favorite operating system. That's been the case for me now, so... because I figured out how to get stuff working. So yeah, as long as you get stuff working, then for the most part, you're gonna be okay. Alright, now I can show you my Rising now, so... obviously I've got, it's a little bit of things, so it's a little bit of stuff I got. Like, I got this calendar. It's a, yeah, it's a desklet. I put the forecast. I put the calendar on. I've got, well, you can't see that. Let me move the cam. So I've got these workspaces, which is cool. So yeah, essentially so I can just look at where I'm looking at, so I can find stuff. Cause I'm on my stuff here. I got OBS and stuff on, oh shit, where is it? Oh, there it is. It fucking disappeared. Okay, but yeah, I have these workspaces, and I can also use, I can use Control-Shift-Arrow keys, and there, I can swap between the two. Pretty cool. And, I also have this thing called, Cinnamenu. So, it's kind of the same as just the regular, Cinnamon start menu, except it's just more pleasing to look at. So yeah, this is all stuff you can just add yourself to if you really want to. So, so again, you've got all these. So there's all these applications you can use, and I also went ahead and got some themes up and running. So if I can bring up if I can bring in system settings, well, I already have that desklet there, and I can go to. Where is it? Fuck it, I'll just type it. There are themes. So you can see there's themes, and there you go. I downloaded a few themes here. I downloaded this one, Adapta Nocto. So you can see I use that, and there we go. We have our, there you go, see? There's our, themes. So yeah, works very well. So that way I have a more, that way I have something that's a bit more pleasing to look at, and I can also showcase to you all NeoFetch. There you go, NeoFetch. This is like the one thing any any Linux user should know. There's one thing you should know terminal-wise on Linux, then it's this thing for sure. You know, that way you can just showcase to you all, you can showcase to your friends, well, that you are using Linux, so... yeah, there you go. So that's a little Linux video for you guys. I got nothing else to say, so thanks for watching.